Hello, everyone. This is Fyruz Khan, and today I'm back with a brand new class. So, in the meantime, if you haven't liked our Facebook page, you can just go to Fyruz Education Services and like our page because every day we upload new live videos on O and A levels business studies, especially. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have more than 60 videos on our channel, and it's synchronized in a playlist. It's much more okay. So, that's that, right? Sorry, I think the internet connection is creating a bit of problem. So yeah, so today let's start our class. Let's start. Is a book that I recently bought, and the cost of this book. This is the book that I recently bought. It's an extraordinary book. It tells you the importance of sleeping, and the cost of this book. The cost means the expenses, the money that it took to make this book is $7. Okay, it took $7 to make this book. Okay, fine. And what is the selling price or revenue? Or what do you get by selling this book? It's $20. It's the real. If you minus $20, which is your revenue or selling price, and you minus the expenses, minus the cost, you get $13. So what is $13? Of course, very simple. Anybody can say $13 is the profit. So how do you find the profit? You find the profit by, total cost minus or subtracted by total revenue. Total cost, how much have you raised by selling this book? How much money have you received by selling this book? Revenue. Okay. And total cost is your expenses. How much did it take you to make this book, right? And profit, because profit is the key, is the main thing in business. You do business because you aim to make profit. So you have to make sure that at the end of the day, you're left what you want to make profit, right? So that's how you find the profit. But it's not that simple. We know there are exceptions. There are different kinds of profit, and we will have a look at those. Okay, so let's go ahead. Profit. So profit is when you subtract total cost. Okay, in order to make this book, the total cost was, let's say, in order to make 20 books, the total cost was $2,000. What's my expenses? Your total expenses was $500. When you minus it, you get $1,500. That's a profit. But that's not, that's not it. Life is not so simple. There are so many loopholes. There's so many concepts. There's so many things that you have to consider. And we will look at all those things. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to type on the comment section, and we will take your comments and reply to those as well. Okay. So profits are of three kinds. Okay, gross profit, operating profit, and net profit. And today we will look at all three of them and how are they different from each other. How do you calculate them? We will have a look at them. So today's chapter is about profits. Chapter number 34, Edexcel Business Studies. So gross profit. Okay, gross profit means it's the difference between revenue and cost of sales. So in order to find out gross profit, you need to know the revenue or turnover. It's the same thing. Revenue means the money that you receive by selling this product, this book. Revenue. By selling one book, the company will get, I don't know, what's the name of the publisher? The name of the publisher is I think it's Scribner. So by selling one book, Scribner will get $20. That's the revenue. If they sell, 2,000 books, what's the revenue? Revenue or turnover. It's also called turnover. Do not be confused. Turnover, revenue, sales revenue, it all means the same. Turnover, revenue, sales revenue, it all means the same. So you need revenue and you need cost of sales. So you take revenue and minus cost of sales. But the question is, what is cost of sales? We will have a look at those, okay? Think about a phone. Think about a phone, okay? So think about this phone. Now, this phone has a screen, it has a camera, it has a body, okay? Now, um, now these are all cost of sales. Wages and salaries. Sorry, the spelling of salary is wrong here. It's my mistake. It's a typing error. Wages and salaries are also cost of sales. Okay, cost of sales means expenses that are directly related to the product that you're selling. Now, screen, body, camera, these are all directly related to the phone that you're buying or that you're selling, right? Buying a tissue paper or buying, let's say, tea for the company is not related with the product. So that is not included under cost of sales. Wages and salaries is. Okay, so cost of sales are those costs, are direct expenses actually that are directly related with the product. Because in a company, there are many kind of expenses or costs, direct cost, indirect cost, right? So gross profit is the profit that tells you the amount when you deduct direct expenses. Okay, so the formula is given here. Gross profit is revenue. What's the total revenue you've generated? Your sales revenue, turnover, same thing. And cost of sales is direct expenses, direct costs that are directly related to the product. The cost of sales for this book would be, buying pages, production, wages and salary, designing the book cover, okay, printing. These are all directly related with the production of the book. Now, I don't know, buying tea or buying tissue roll or buying hand wash for this same company is not a direct expense. Okay, so that's how you find gross profit. Gross profit is revenue minus cost of sales. Okay, let's go ahead and let's see what we have. I have a worked example. I have an example. This example is also in the book. Now, let's say HLD is a large Canadian paper manufacturer, and their turnover for that year, or their sales revenue for that year, was Canadian $46 million. And the cost of sale was $23.5 million. So it's easy to find gross profit. Revenue or turnover minus cost of sales, you get $22.5 million. Okay, so this is your gross profit. You take revenue minus cost of sales, that's gross profit. Okay. Now, operating profit means you take the gross profit that you've already found out. Okay, you take that value, 22.5 million, minus overhead expenses, minus operating expenses. You have in a company, you have expenses like, I need to ship this product. I need stationaries. You need food. You need there are other variable expenses. Those are called operating expenses. They're handling expenses. They're administrative expenses. There are legal expenses. So these are all overhead expenses. So you take the gross profit that you've already got here, 22.5 million. You minus overheads or operating expenses. That is operating profit. In order to run a business, there are some operating costs, administrative expenses, shipping expenses, stationery, food, variable. You minus that and you get operating expenses. Okay, so I have the worked out the same problem. So if you read here, operating expenses was 20.4 million. Okay, 12.4 million. So we know the revenue, it's 46 million minus 23.5 million is your operating expenses. Okay, 22.5 million minus 12.4 million. Gross profit is, you take the gross profit. 22.5 million minus your operating expenses was 12.4 million. You get 10.1 million. That's your operating profit. Okay, so you continue from here. Whatever you've got, gross profit, take that minus operating expenses. Your operating expenses was 12.4 million, and you get 10.1 million, right? Okay, so that's how you find out operating profit. Then we also have one more, the last one, which is the net profit. Net profit is minusing everything. Think about a company has loans, and for loans, you need to pay interest rate, right? Interest rate is also a cost to the business because money is flowing out. It's not coming in. So that is an expense. So what net profit does is net profit also subtracts those. So think about, what is your operating profit? Your operating profit was 10.1 million. So you take 10.1 million finance cost net. If you look at the question, your finance cost was, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2.1 million. 2.1 million means you've borrowed money from the bank, right? Let's say you've borrowed $30 million. And when you borrow money, you have to pay interest rate. Okay, you have to pay interest rate, and that is finance cost. So when you take your operating cost minus finance cost, that's your net profit, or which is also known as profit for the year after subtracting is the real income after minusing everything. So gross profit, if you talk about gross profit is just subtracting your cost of sales, so direct expenses, the expenses that are directly related to the product. Okay. And then comes your operating profit. Operating profit is minus variable expenses, operating expenses. And net profit is subtracting your finance cost. So that's the real thing that will be left. And if you think about gross profit, operating profit, net profit, the amount will reduce. If you look at this, at first it was, the gross profit was 22.5 million, the operating profit 10.1 million, so there's a huge drop by half. Okay. And then there was again a drop of around 2 million, so it will reduce. Gross profit will be a lot, because it's only minus cost of sales, direct expenses, and then there'll be a drop. Okay, minus variable expenses or operating expenses. In some companies, operating expenses can be a lot. In some companies, it can be less. I think here it's a lot. So for the accountants, it's their duty to check why it's so much. 10.1 is their operating expenses. And then you will have interest cost. Okay. So there we go. And there was not much a huge drop. I'm sure the interest rate is low, something like that. Okay. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to comment down on the comment section, and we will take your question as soon as possible. Right? Great. Let's go ahead. Now, ways to increase profit. Ways to increase profit. Now, there are different ways to increase profit. One way is, if you want to increase the profitability of a product, you can raise their prices and lower costs per unit. I will tell you more about this. Think about the new iPhone. Okay, I have a box. It's not my phone. My wife bought this phone. What's interesting about this phone is, the phone is the same, everything is the same, but they have not included a headphone. Okay, the price is the same, they're selling at, but they've managed to cut down cost. The box has shrunken, it's thinner, that means packaging cost has substantially reduced. Not including any headphone. It's just like this, it's just blank. Okay, that means okay, that means per unit box, probably they're when you count that in millions of units, it's a lot of money. Okay. The profitability is by raising the price and to cut cost, sell it for more, but then you're also cutting costs, so the gap will be more larger. Okay. But again, when you reduce cost, you have to think about the quality, because a lot of Apple received a lot of criticisms because of not including a charging brick headphone. Okay. Because Apple, their take is that there are already so many chargers in the market, and our customers have it, and we want to be green, we want to be environmental friendly, but that's not a good excuse. Okay. But they have substantially reduced cost. But there are other ways to reduce cost as well. You can invest more in advertising. Think about TV advertising, radio advertising, social media advertising. Okay, invest in promotional campaign, have loyalty card, 50% off, 20% off. Okay, or like Best Buy, Amazon. You can also buy it online, right? So online lets everyone buy it. It has a huge exposure. So that is a distribution channel. Make sure your product is available and accessible everywhere. Okay, so that's staff. Like if I tell my sales staff that you have to buy if you sell, um, if you sell more, you'll get more commission. So they'll be more motivated to sell more. So increase the commission, but be may use forceful, pressurizing force when you and target at them, and social media helps you to do that. Okay. Accept a wider range of payment method. For example, let's say you're selling this phone and you only accept cash. That's not fair. That means somebody who does not have cash will not be able to buy the product. So you're restricting it. What you can do is, okay, we accept, let's say, Visa card and MasterCard. You can also use, let's say, Bcash or like online transfer. Okay, so these are small little things, but these are important too. Okay. And encourage people to buy a large amount, like especially in Western countries, if you buy more, it's more cheaper. So these are some ways to increase profit. Also find new market. For example, okay, let's say you're selling this phone in America. Why not sell this phone in the UK, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Bangladesh, in India? So the possibility is endless, because sell the same product. Marketing tactics can be different. The prices can be a bit different, but the way to increase profit, to generate more profitability, is to find new market, explore new opportunities, and exploit overseas market. Let's say you have a washing machine company, right? And you've been in you're a washing machine manufacturer, and let's say you've been in the market for 15 to 20 years. Okay. And let's say the US market is saturated, because now everybody has a washing machine in America, but that's not the case in India. That's not the case in Bangladesh. There's a growing market. The middle class is rising. So try and tap into those markets and sell your product there. So find new markets, new opportunities. If your profitability is decreasing in one market, try and exploit other markets. Sell this book everywhere. Okay. And nowadays it's very easy because of online. Diversify your business. Extend the product range. Okay, diversify your business. Extend the product range. Think about Tata. Think about Reliance. Think about other big companies. Okay, and they have so much of options. Okay, let's say you're making phone. You can also have your own, I don't know, driverless cars. You can be like Samsung is a very good example. Samsung makes washing machine, fridge, and phone. They're also in the import and exporting business. Samsung started by exporting and importing dry fish, shutki, right? So you can diversify your business to increase profitability. You can also merge and take over, and we've spoken about this in the last class. Like Facebook took over Instagram and WhatsApp only in the intention of increasing their profitability, to grow quickly, because a bigger company can enjoy economies of scale. You can enjoy lower costs because you have everything. Like Facebook has taken over Instagram and WhatsApp. That means it's a similar company. So that means for everything, they have 3 different departments. The 3 marketing departments, the 3 HR departments, 3 finance departments, and therefore you will enjoy economies of scale. Okay, so there you go. It's not that you have to take over similar company. Yes, Facebook took over Instagram or WhatsApp because they're in a similar business. Think about Tata. Tata has all kind of business. They also have cars, but not luxury cars. They have very, very basic. I think Tata Nano, all those kind of cars. But they bought Range Rover back in 2008 or 2009, if I'm not mistaken. This is the most luxurious car ever there in the market. So and they have diversified, right? They came into the luxury market. So it's not that you have to buy similar businesses, similar products. You can also do something different. Okay, you can also do something different. So yeah, and then disposable of non-profitable activities. Airbus has A380, their plane, and A380 is a huge, beautiful plane. And I was fortunate enough to take Airbus A380 in one of my journeys. It's really nice, very comfortable, very big. But it's also very expensive to make one of these airplanes, and therefore Airbus have decided to shut off its operations from shut off A380 operations from 2021. Okay, because it's not making enough of profit. So if your company does not make a lot of profit on one kind of product, sell it off, stop it. So that is disposable of non-profitable activities, because you just can't go on making losses. It's impossible, right? So what you can do is you can sell it to other company, or you can just simply stop, because there's a constant, when you're making loss, there's a constant outflow of cash, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so when you stop loss-making businesses, you also save a lot of money, and in the future your profitability will increase. Okay, focus on just some things, right? So yeah, the best example is back in the day, Apple made a lot of losses, and they were making tons of product. They were making 20-30 different kinds of product, and they got rid of everything, and they just had 2 or 3 kinds of product, because all those products were making losses. Okay, and you don't want to run loss making services and product. Great. Today we will stop here. It was a great class. We finished it under 25 minutes. So today the main objective of this lesson was to introduce the concept of gross profit, operating profit, and net profit. Okay. And then I've shown you example, and we've also talked about ways to increase profit. Of course, you can increase their price and reduce the cost. That's there. I've given an example of Apple. And then we've also talked about other ways: invest in advertising, invest in distribution channel, increase commission, improve customer targeting, accept a wider range of payment method, find new markets, diversify, mergers and take over other companies, new companies, big companies. You can grow quickly. You can enjoy economies of scale. Like Facebook taking over WhatsApp and Instagram because they're similar business, economies of scale, lower cost. They can share ideas, exchange ideas. Okay, they can have more market share. And for example, a company like Tata took over Range Rover. It's not that always you have to be in the same business. And then we've also talked about disposable of non-profitable activity. If a certain product or a service is not generating profit, shut that down or sell it off. Okay, in that way you can also reduce your cost and then increase profitability in the future. Okay, and we've given you an example of Airbus. There are other examples that's mentioned here. Thank you very much. We'll stop here. If you haven't liked our page, just like it. It's free. So yeah. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much. I will be back again tomorrow with a new chapter, and have a good night. Thank you.